What's up, guys? All right, so today we're going to talk just a little bit more. I promise I won't do this too many times. Just a little bit more about all the controversy going on with the new Marvel Legends HasLab Ghost Rider. Now, I thought this was a pretty simple issue up front. When you look at what's going on with this Ghost Rider project, $350 for a figure, maybe two figures, potentially more, who knows, and a plastic car. Then you add shipping and handling on top of the 350, $400 for this. It seems like a clear ripoff and taking advantage of customers and collectors. You add that to the price hikes we've seen over the last 6 to 8 months, anywhere from 25 to 50%, sometimes even a little bit more in prices for average products, not even deluxe editions of anything or special HasLabs, but just regular everyday products that you pick up at your local retail store or online. And then, of course, there's the QC issues that Hasbro seems to be having, specifically with the Marvel Legends line, that have just become exponential at this point. I thought it was a pretty simple viewpoint of what's going on. Look, if you want to kind of get ripped off, but you're a big enough fan of Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider and you know you're spending too much money, cool, go get it. It's fine. It's your money. Do what you want to do. Otherwise, I mean, just acknowledge that it's a ripoff. But now what I'm seeing in the fan communities, some of which is being pushed by people I can only describe as shills. So these are people with social media presence that are, I don't know if they're compensated in some way, shape, or form, but certainly they seem to have a stake in this particular issue. And then something I'm seeing pushed not just by them, but pushed by just fans, people in the community. And this is all over the online outlets that we have, social media, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all this stuff. And that is this push to encourage people to, whether or not they actually want this product, to go ahead and back it. And not only that, in and of itself, pushing people to spend money on something they don't want for purely selfish reasons, by the way, because I've seen it just straight put out there that people are saying, well, just be a good member of the collecting community and just go ahead and back it so that we can open up all the tiers. That's pretty selfish of you. If people don't want a product, to try and pressure them into buying it just so that you can get more tiers on what you ordered. But the other side of this I'm seeing is that people are encouraging people to back the product and then cancel it the day before they get charged. Now, I want to explain something here very, very briefly, and hopefully this gets across to everybody. The definition of fraud is wrongful deception intended to result in financial or personal gain. The definition for credit card fraud is to borrow money or use credit cards to purchase goods or services with no intention of repaying the debt. Now, you can probably find some wiggle room in there between those definitions and what a lot of people are proposing online. But essentially what's going on is, hey, I want this thing really, really bad, and we want to try and open up as many, tiers as possible. In other words, promises from the manufacturer that if enough people back this, we'll give you extra stuff. But then don't worry, you don't have to pay for it. Just cancel the day before. In other words, you're kind of trying to defraud the company. And I'm not sitting here trying to protect Hasbro. I really don't care because, again, I think they're taking advantage of collectors. But you're also encouraging at least some level of fraud when you're telling people to go out there and promise to buy a product and then back out at the last minute, specifically so that other people can get what they really want when you have no intention whatsoever of actually purchasing this product. So there's just a whole lot of weird stuff going on right now with this particular HasLab. Things that I just think are plainly just unethical, both on behalf of Hasbro and the Marvel Legends team with this HasLab. I just don't like the way it's being done. I don't like anything about it. But then in the community itself, seemingly being spurred on by shills or just a bunch of selfish people, they're pushing for what in some circles could legitimately be considered fraud and criminal fraud. I mean, there's legitimately cases of people who've been involved in things very similar to this that have actually been charged with being members of organized crime, because when enough people get together to attempt to in some way defraud a business or a person or a company or whatever it is, you can actually be charged with being a part of a criminal organization. That's organized crime. And I know you may think, well, I'm not a part of the mob. It doesn't matter. I specifically know individuals personally, unfortunately, that have actually been charged with being a part of a criminal organization because of things not exactly like this, but very, very similar. This is not something you want to get involved in, and this is certainly not something anybody in the collecting community should be pushing for, period, end of story. This is about as close to fraud as you can get without maybe potentially legally being accused of fraud, but like so close that really if somebody wanted to make the case, it'd be a pretty easy case to make. So very strange things going on in the Marvel Legends collecting community with this ridiculously overpriced Ghost Rider HasLab that nobody really was asking for on the 50th anniversary of Ghost Rider. A Ghost Rider made famous by Johnny Blaze and Danny Ketch. They give us Robbie Reyes, who's new and really hasn't done a lot of significant things in the comic books. He's just not somebody anybody was really clamoring for. And yet, here we go, this nice, overpriced, taking advantage of collectors, and now potential fraud? Seems pretty odd to me. My personal advice to you is, if you want it, cool. Just acknowledge you're paying too much for it, and don't listen to anybody telling you should do it just to bring up the tears, or just so that I can get something cool, or do it for the good of community. Yeah, they're either shills or they're just plain selfish assholes.